The U.S. Supreme Court releases its final judgment clearing the way for Louisiana to create new congressional maps after it ruled one of the maps violates federal redistricting laws.
Sabrina Wilson reports that this impacts one of Louisiana's majority black congressional districts.
That's right. Last night, the court granted a request to immediately finalize its ruling in Louisiana v. Calais. The high court's decision comes as the Louisiana legislature prepares to get to work on recrafting Louisiana's congressional map. The plaintiffs in the case, which led to the high court scrapping one of Louisiana's majority black districts, requested an expedited judgment from the high court. The Supreme Court acknowledged that normally the clerk of court waits 32 days after the court's ruling to send the opinion to the lower court in the case. That's done to permit the losing parties time to file a petition for rehearing. In response to last week's ruling, Governor Jeff Landry suspended Louisiana's U.S. House races. Democratic Congressman Troy Carter of New Orleans, who represents the other black majority district, criticized Landry's suspension of the House races. On this coming Friday, a state Senate committee is supposed to take up legislation related to redrawing Louisiana's electoral districts. Now, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill praised the Supreme Court's decision to bypass the 32-day waiting period. She said, quote, "This case is a major win for Louisiana. We are moving forward immediately to ensure the constitutional rights of our citizens are protected and to fix the unconstitutional map. Louisiana is continuing to follow the law."
It zeroes in on the 6th congressional district, but the reality is the ramifications are for our entire state and our entire country, and not just congressional seats, but also school board seats, legislative seats, city council seats.
Dissenters on the high court said the Supreme Court should allow the 32-day waiting period to run out to, quote, avoid the appearance of partiality. I reached out to Governor Jeff Landry for a response to SCOTUS's latest move. I haven't heard back. Numerous lawsuits have been filed over the governor's suspension of the U.S. House race, which some people have already voted